Welcome back to the channel and welcome to this week's video, which is a recap of my last, what I would call normal term at the University of Oxford. I'm in my final year and this was my last Michaelmas term with sort of standard teaching for a languages student. So let's roll the intro and get straight into it. So to begin with, I'm going to talk a little bit about the progression of my term. I got back to Oxford in minus first week, so 2 weeks before the term officially started. And that was because Worcester allows final year students to go back into accommodation a little bit earlier. And that was kind of good because it meant I had 2 weeks of proper strong revision for my collections, which happened at the end of North week. Those collections were a little bit scary. It was for a medieval Spanish literature paper, which I had started studying at the start of second year. And what I realised while I was revising is that my teaching in second year hadn't covered everything it needed to cover, which was quite scary. But I'm glad I spotted it then so that I wasn't scrambling around before my actual exams trying to learn new things. Not very encouraging when you're studying at one of the best institutions in the world for further education. But that was the reality of it. And what I've done now, I'm quite pleased actually, is organise some extra teaching to cover what we missed this coming term. That collection ended up going quite well. I didn't manage to finish it, but I managed to do enough to give me an idea of what level I was working at with the knowledge I did have. So that was quite encouraging. And after that, the term sort of got started nice and smoothly. And I was actually really pleased with this term. I managed to, I think, quite nicely balance working and not working and keeping things consistent, sort of with my timetable, making sure I got things done on time and things were done without being rushed or anything like that. And I was actually really quite happy with it, I think, overall. I managed to sort of do all my big essays over a 3-day period, 1 day for reading, 1 day for planning, 1 day for writing. I think my planning and writing phases got a lot more efficient compared to second year. I think the ideas I was putting across were better. And overall, it felt like quite a chilled out term. I got a little bit tired towards week 5, week 6, and then I felt better again in week 7 and 8. And actually, since coming home, I've completely died. But that usually happens with Oxford. You sort of hang on, cling on until the end. And then once you get home, you relax and it's like, oh. But outside of academic stuff, I think this has really helped. I joined the triathlon club, so I've been swimming and running with them a lot. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to cycle much this term because of a knee injury that I got while cycling to Scotland. You can see the videos there. And actually, for the collection video, you can also see the collection video where I discuss a little bit more about that down here. And I'll link videos in various places. Anyway, you get the idea. So joined the triathlon club, really enjoyed that. Good to get back into some swimming. Good to do some running with other people. And I managed to go to a lot of those sessions and feel like they weren't taking up too much time. I really enjoyed them. And in addition to that, I also spent a lot of time with my friends from first and second year who now live outside of college. So I would spend usually 2 or 3 evenings a week with them. And on the third evening on a Sunday, I would spend basically the whole afternoon with them. So that was really nice. As like a set time when I wasn't working and I was just sitting and chatting or sitting and watching TV or, you know, it was just really good. And it's nice to have a different place to go to that you know has nothing to do with work. So I really, really enjoyed that. Sadly, I don't have any of the books here, but this term I was studying Jean Racine, a 17th century French dramatist and playwright, probably one of the most famous writer of tragic plays ever, as well as Federico Garcia Lorca, a Spanish poet of the 20th century, poet and playwright, I apologise. Now, I picked to study Racine because we studied one of his plays in first year. Loved it. He has a lot of classics influences, and a lot of his material is based on classics, sort of ancient Greek myths and stories, also Roman myths and stories. So I have to say I loved studying Racine. I enjoyed every single essay I wrote. I wrote a really, really good commentary to finish the term off, so I was really pleased. My tutor for Racine is the same tutor I had for Molière last year. And I loved it. I really did. And I just found it so, so interesting The plays are exciting in themselves. Studying them enriches it even more. It's just fabulous. Honestly, I had so much fun. And that's so lovely. Honestly, it's so refreshing to really enjoy entirely with no caveats part of your degree. Because I enjoy translation and things, but it's tough and it feels like a chore sometimes. But no, Racine was great. Federico Garcia Lorca, I chose to study because we studied one of his poetry collections in first year, so sort of similar. However, what I came to realise quite swiftly with Lorca is that it's very complicated. There's a lot of things going on. It requires you to be very creative in how you interpret his work and how you write about his work. So actually, your interpretation maybe doesn't need to be too creative, but the way you write, I think, does, which maybe doesn't suit me as much as I thought. I still enjoyed studying his plays, especially. I enjoyed writing an essay and a commentary on his plays. Really, really interesting, and the tutorials were good fun. When it came to poetry, I felt that my essay was quite... It was average, maybe subpar, and my commentary, I completely sort of misinterpreted the poem I was reading. So that's never a good thing. But I think I learned a lot in the tutorials, and it'll be interesting to see what I get out of it in terms of revision. In that paper, I'm also studying Cortázar, which I did in second year, and it's going to be a tough combo, I think, but with some revision, with some sort of looking over the texts and things, I should be able to manage. It just wasn't... It's really difficult because it was good fun, and I was expecting to have maybe a bit more fun, and in comparison to Racine, it was quite a big contrast. But that went well. And then with the language classes and the oral classes and translation, all mixed in together, more or less okay. Just quite, you do what you got to do. I have oral exams at the start of Trinity, so 5 weeks before my main exams start. So that's actually coming up quite quickly, but I'm not too worried about those. The French one will be a bit challenging, I think, because you have to summarize a text and then talk more about it. But you don't get to pick which text you summarize. You're just given one, and that's all you have. So if you don't know much about the topic, things might get a bit tricky. You're going to have to try and steer them away. But anyway, that is for Trinity. It's still quite a way away yet. Next term, as I said, I will be studying paper 6 again. So the medieval literature paper that wasn't taught to me properly in second year, which is quite annoying. It really is quite annoying because next time I have a coursework paper on Latin American film, and most of the time I would just be able to focus all my time and effort onto that paper, producing some good essays to submit as a portfolio. But sadly, that's not an option. So sadly, I won't be able to concentrate as much as I would want on that film paper. Not the end of the world. I've got some films to watch. I need to read the books for the other Spanish paper. But yeah, next term should be good fun. I'm also in a play, which is quite exciting. I haven't done any drama in Oxford, so that'll be really good fun, I think. But it's getting close, the end is getting close, and I'm starting to feel a little bit of the stress. Just need to not think about it too much. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about this term, stick them in the comment section below. I made quite a few, I think, useful videos that you may enjoy. So check those out, and I will catch you next time. Stay tuned.